My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So that's why I started this podcast, to bring you people from all over the world, whether entrepreneurs or not, to share with you their journey, their story, their experience, and who they are and what they believe in. Today I have with me Tiffany Winfrey, all the way from New York City. So please, Tiffany, what we normally do at the start of these podcasts is we ask the guest a question that's determined from the previous guest to get the ball rolling as an icebreaker. So Terry Brock from Florida wants to know, what are you working on now that's getting you excited?
I am working on an amazing project with a client of mine. I am a graphic designer. I help clients with branding as well. And when I started my business, I all started it basically off of prayer. I had prayed and I had asked God to just confirm that this was in line with where I should be. And a lot of my clients that have come to me have been spiritually connected as well. So I have a client who the name of their business is Christian Connect, and I am so excited to be working with them. So this is really getting me excited. I've been working on it day and night, and I can't wait for the official launch.
All right, so tell me about your business then, your graphic designing. So I was reading through it. You said people were urging you on to start it, but you didn't dare. But what was the story behind that?
Okay, so I've been doing the graphic design for about 4 years now. Basically, it all started with a best friend. She had her own cake business. So she made cakes, she made cupcakes, beautiful cakes. And she didn't have a logo. She didn't have anything out there. So for her birthday, I decided to surprise her and design a logo. It was really my first time doing it. So I had downloaded Coral, and it took me a couple of days, but I got her a nice logo. And I printed it on T-shirts. I did it on like her apron and everything, and she loved it. And everyone else loved it, and they were coming to her asking me to do logos. And I was a little nervous, it was my first time. So I kept making excuses. I kept putting it off. I eventually invested in school. I went back to school for it. But I still was afraid to launch it out there as a business. My friends kept saying you should make it a business. You're really good at what you're doing. It wasn't until when my best friend actually got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And when she had pancreatic cancer, she passed. But it was just me seeing that life is just so short and so precious. And when we have these dreams inside of us, and sometimes it's our purpose, but we keep putting it off. We keep making these excuses. But it's our purpose in life, and we have to go for it because life is just so short. So I put it off for so many years, and thank God I actually went through with it. I officially launched in January of this year, so I've only been out here for only 10 months. But I would say that it's been pretty much an exciting experience, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I started to notice a slight pattern, actually, as you were talking about your story, Tiffany, that a lot of people, maybe on this channel or entrepreneurs in general, they always tend to start off like accidentally. People are urging them on, or they kind of just go into it. They don't wake up one day saying, "I'm going to start a business," or the risks and the heartache and the long hours. That's for me. Yeah, they just happen to go into it.
Yes, that's.
Yeah, and life is short. Life is very short. There's a thing that I talk about, which is the 40-40-40 rule. Why work for somebody else for 40 hours a week for 40 years, and because of inflation, your savings when you come to retire or old age is only worth 40% less?
Wow, that's really touching. That is so true. That is very, very true.
You said earlier that a lot of your clients are spiritually connected. Could you elaborate on that, please?
So it's just so weird. I'm a spiritual person, so I try to leave a lot of things in God's hands. So when I launched my business, I was terrified. I launched the night of my birthday. I was terrified. It really took me months. I had bought the domain for my business in October of last year, but I didn't officially launch till January because I was just afraid the whole time. So the night of my birthday, I prayed and I said, God, I'm leaving it all in your hands. And I just want you to confirm if this business is for me, if I'm taking the right, road. So a lot of my clients that have come to me, they've told me how they've been looking for someone to design their website for months, and all of a sudden they came across me on Facebook or Instagram, and they felt something, or they really liked my website, or they listened to one of my speeches or something, and they really felt a connection. I've had clients who say, "Oh, I prayed and I found you the next morning," and it's just so weird because I never put it out there. It's just that they come to me and they tell me these things. And I look at it as God is, through each one of my clients, He's confirming that this is my purpose, that this is my life's
purpose. That's interesting. When you say you start, you prayed. And was this the first ever business you started?
Yes.
And it's been going for nearly a year now.
Yes.
So tell me about that a little bit then, because you said you prayed on your birthday, and what was leading up to that, and what were your thoughts at the time? Because how did you maintain the faith, so to speak?
Well, I was afraid. You know what? From my own personal experience, when it came to launching my business, I was terrified. I actually had started my Instagram before I had actually put my website out there. And I remember my heart racing when one day I woke up and I had 20 followers. And I'm like, why do I have 20 followers? What am I going to show these people? I felt terrified. I felt like people were watching me. I felt like, what if I'm a failure? What if things don't go? I had a million things going on. What if I don't make any money? What if I don't get any clients? It was really hard for me. But the thing about it is that you have to have a support system also. So, I do have a support system around me. I have my boyfriend, I have my friends, and they all kept pushing me. And then when it came to me praying the night before, it was just more so like me just letting it go, letting it all go, and just saying, look, I'm going to go through with this, and I'm just going to see how it goes. And I just let it all go. So I try my best. I still have my days sometimes where I get a little afraid if I have a new client. I get a little afraid if they're going to like my work, or if we're going to hit it off, or if we're going to be connected. So I still have those days, but for the most part, I try to keep the faith and just say, I'm letting it go. And I've been letting it go for these past couple of months, and so far, so good.
Yeah, I've come to realize that we always underestimate our own talents and always overestimate the talents of other people.
Yes.
So tell me about the graphic designing. Did you mention you studied it before for 4 years or something? I remember reading, or am I mistaken?
Yes, I've been doing it for 4 years, but I fell upon it. I really went to school for computer programming. So I have my bachelor's degree in computer programming, and that's my job. But I fell upon graphic design when I did a logo for my best friend, because I felt she was my best friend, and she had clients, she was making cakes, and she was making a lot of money doing cakes and everything. But she didn't have a brand out there. She didn't have anyone to recognize. She'll drop off a cake box to you, but it'll just be a plain white box. She didn't have anything for people to say, where did this come from? She didn't have business cards. Everything was just through word of mouth. And I felt like she needed something for people to recognize. So I created her logo, and it was beautiful because I don't know how, I can't remember how I did it. I took a picture of her cupcake and turned it into a logo. And so it was with that. And then, a lot of people told me, when you have something in you, you don't have to go to school for it because it's in you. And, like they say, you can't teach an artist to be an artist. You can't teach someone to draw how to draw. So a lot of people told me that, but I guess it was just the fear in me feeling that I needed the confirmation through school. So I did go back to school for Illustrator courses, Photoshop courses.
Tell me about your fear.
My fear? My biggest fear is, I guess, letting people down. Failure. That's my biggest fear. I have this, I walk around like I feel like the world is on my shoulders. I have to make everyone happy. And I love to make people happy. That's why my business is T Smiles Design, because I am a very happy person. I'm always smiling, very much I'm very much always happy and cheerful and cheery and everything. So I guess that's my fear also, is having someone not feel the same way I'm feeling. If they're not happy, I have to, and I do that with my clients. Sometimes I find myself, sometimes they will have a bad day. And so I try to motivate them, to push them to say, this is your purpose, this is your business, this is what you're going to go through. You're going to be afraid, you're going to have your fear, I still have my fear. So I try to develop that friendship one-on-one throughout my work with my clients as well.
So I'm very curious then, if your clients have had bad days, what's the worst day you've had?
The worst day I've had? That's a good question. The worst day I've had. That's a really good question, Adrian. I would say the worst day I've had so far, in the business, the worst day I've had was a couple of months ago. It was in June, and I had a difficult client, and it was hard for me because everything I put out there, they didn't like. So I'm like, why don't they like my work? It actually made me depressed. I was depressed for a little bit because I felt like they didn't like anything that I put out there, and I didn't understand why. So a bad day turned into a bad week, and I was depressed for a whole week. And I actually, at that point, I felt like maybe this isn't for me. I felt like maybe this business isn't for me. Maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe I need to just sit back and see what's going on. But then something inside of me told me to just reevaluate the situation. What I was doing was I wasn't going back to my clients, asking questions more. I was assuming that I knew what they needed. So I went back to this client and spoke more. And it actually developed into like a long-lasting relationship. Like we're still friends to this day. And they love the work that I did. It just took some time getting there. So that was my worst day so far. Worst week, actually.
So tell me a bit more about the graphic designing, because I know a little bit of the terminology, the words, the phrases, composition, Fibonacci, tonal value. Tonal value is something I always look for. I don't think that logos are as important as they used to be, insofar as what the brand represents, or what it means, or what it stands for, or the messaging, or the product, or even the pricing. Logo is a bit superficial. It's a bit like the gloss. It's just like glossing over the marketing. Oh, let's get a logo. Well, that'll do. What do you think? Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So that's why I label myself as, I'm a graphic designer, but I also provide a branding solution. Because what happens is, people think that branding is the image. They think, oh, it's a logo, or it's a website. But you can have a pretty logo and you can have a pretty website and get no customers and get no clients. So when my clients come to me, I try to teach them also the meaning of a brand. Who are you? Who's the face behind your business? What do you do? What do you love? What makes you wake up in the morning? What do you love about your business? What makes you excited? Because these are things that show throughout your business. It's not just a logo. What I'm learning through my own business is that people trust me because I give them that personable experience. I give them that personable experience. It's that one-on-one, and they feel more so, able to trust me. So I tell my clients going on when they come to me for a logo or for a website that it's not just an image behind it. Tell your story. I have clients who come to me and told me they went through a divorce, or they've lost their house, or they've had to struggle and being a single mother. And I tell them and they come to me and they say, oh, Tiffany, I'm sorry to burden you with, my stress or my troubles that I've been through. And I say, no, that's not a burden. That's your story. And some people are so ashamed or afraid of their story, but I tell my clients, honestly, your story is your brand. And your story is your brand, because basically that's how people feel that they can connect with you. When you start providing that personal touch, they feel they can connect with you. They understand your story. People can relate. And with that relation, you develop customers, you develop clients. Tell your reason behind why you started a jewelry business. Tell your reason behind why you started a t-shirt business. And people will feel more comfortable and trust you more. And then with that, as they develop that personal experience, then with that, they will start to recognize, oh, your website, your logo, and things like that.
Yeah, stories are very important. We are story. There's an old saying, actually. There's an old saying, Tiffany, that storytellers never go hungry, and that when you can tell a story, the whole world will follow you. That first half was an old saying. The second half was just me. So you said there that branding is all about you, and what's important is that you love your business. So what do you love about your business?
You know, honestly, I love designing. I love doing the logos and the website and the flyers. I love that. I can literally sit in front of my computer for hours. I love the work behind it, but what I love the most is meeting new people and speaking to people. I have clients I've met in Texas and Georgia, and just speaking to people, across and hearing their story and just developing a relationship. That is what I'm really loving right now.
Do you know about a website called Meetupcom?
Yes.
Right. Do you use that much in business or just purely for socializing?
No, actually, I signed up for Meetup. The weird thing about it is that I don't use it for business. I signed up for Meetup.com years ago.
Right.
I signed up for Meetup.com because I was in a relationship. I was in a relationship for 8 years, and we broke up. And I was engaged in everything, and we broke up. So what happened was I found myself in my apartment by myself. I had friends, but not, my friends are all over the place. I have my best friend 3 hours away. My other girlfriends, they're in different cities. I'm in Queens, but at that time I was in Long Island, and my friends were in Brooklyn, Bronx. So at that time, I felt like, oh, I need to go out and socialize. So I did sign up for Meetup.com then, but I haven't used it since years ago.
Yeah, just curious. That's one way that I tend to socialize a lot with people I've never met before, or people with a lot of common interests. I was just curious about that. So tell me, how do you feel that God is still on your side in business?
I feel, you know what? I feel like he is because I'm getting a lot of clients, like I said, that are spiritually connected. But also, even this month, like October, I'm actually booked out. I can't even take on any more projects for October. I have to schedule people for November. And things have been going. I have some good days, and then most of the time there are good days, and I have little bad moments. But I always feel like this little, I don't know, this little push inside of me. I don't know what it is, but something just pushes me and says, keep going or keep doing this. And sometimes it makes me feel so positive. It's just this positive energy I have around me that's keeping me. And I feel like that's all God that's confirming for me to keep going.
So what motivates you then?
Really, what motivates me is really just the love of my work, the love of me doing what I do. Like even in June when I went through, I had my client and I went a little depressed. I kind of wasn't taking any more clients, so I had a little down moment. But still, I felt motivated to continue. I still was designing for myself. I still was doing things for my own business. I was like updating my website. I was like updating my business cards. So it's something about me just being in front of my laptop, having my laptop. It's like my bestest friend in the world. That motivates me. Designing and taking care of other people, making other people happy, making them love, their business more, find their purpose and everything. That really motivates me.
So you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but what are you working on next? And what is next for you?
Okay. For me, next, what I really want to do is I want to get into public speaking. So that is a goal of mine. I did have my first speech a couple of weeks ago at a women's conference. And I was a little nervous, but I feel like a part of me should be speaking to more people. Because there's so many people who all share the same stories and they don't realize they do. There's so many people out here who have so many struggles and they feel that they're the only one and they're alone. And that's not the case. And I realize I have clients, and they come to me for a flyer or they come to me for a logo. But I have clients where I can be on the phone with them for 2 or 3 hours, and we just end up talking about life. So my next thing I really want to get into is public speaking, where I guess it would be labeled motivational speaking, where I'm just out here showing people that, you have a purpose, find your purpose, and let's push together towards it. Let's develop a relationship where I help you, come out here and not be so afraid or ashamed of your story.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about this as well, public speaking. And it's like you can either try and become a public speaker yourself. Okay, fine, perfectly doable. I'm not quite sure what the strategies are, but perfectly doable. Alternatively, a little bit of a cheat or a hack, start your own conference. Rather than go to people and, can I come on the stage? No, start your own conference. Meetup.com, a few other things, Facebook groups and all the rest, and Facebook events. Start your own stuff. You're the main stage, and invite other people to come on the show.
That's
Yeah.
a
It's like rather this podcast. Rather than going to people on YouTube and iTunes and can I come on the show? No, I'll start my own instead. So I might as well start your own conference. I'm thinking about this as well, but low priority right now. But it's like,
That's a good idea, though. I love it.
Yeah, rather than can I come on the show? Can I come on the stage? No. Can you come on mine? Oh, you want to come on mine, do you? Yeah, all right. No, not you. Well, you, yeah, sure. So, your motivation, you say, in what way? Because this channel is all about helping entrepreneurs become remarkable. And the story behind that was, I was at a funeral about a year and a half ago almost, and I was thinking, the person that's at the funeral, they didn't live a remarkable life, and it was a bit boring. I was proven wrong. There were quite a few people there, and he impacted their lives in different ways. And I then realised that we're all remarkable in our own way, but not everyone dares to be or wants to be or is too ignorant or too doubtful or whatever, any other adjective of being remarkable. So I say everyone has the potential within them to become remarkable and do the thing they really want to do and feel or they should do. What's your thoughts on the motivation side? What do you believe? What do you think?
I agree with you 100%. 100%. And that's what I try to teach through my business. Yes, I do offer graphic designs, but also when people come to me, I have clients who come to me who this is their first business. They're just getting started. And they're more so heavy on the fear side, but they know that they have to go through with it. And in their mind, they say, oh, I just need a logo. I need a website. But I talk to them and say, what's your story behind this? I have a client who has a jewelry business, and her story behind it is her family and her loving jewelry as a little girl, and remember her grandmother dressing her up and dressing up in her grandmother's jewelry. So and I try to tell them, like, this is your purpose. You can touch other girls. You can touch other women and have them feel beautiful. So I try to show people that, yes, you have a business and this is something you feel inside of you, but let me bring it out a little more. Let me show you that, like you said, Adrian, remarkable. Like, everyone in this world has something inside of them that's remarkable, that's a purpose, that can help other people. And it's so sad that, it took me, I'm 32 years old now, so I feel like it took me 32 years to start the business and really realize, like, I feel like this is my purpose. I don't feel like designing is my purpose. I feel like my purpose is just helping other people and motivating other people. It's just through my business that's how I get to these people. And I try to show other people that, you have to find your purpose as well. Because honestly, that's what keeps me happy. That's what keeps me going. It's not waking up, going to a 9 to 5. It's not paying my bills. It's not watching my favorite show on TV. It's just knowing that I helped someone, or I made someone feel a little better, or I called a client and she's having a bad day. But it's something I said that made her feel a little better. And that's what I love about what I do. And also everyone seeing inside of them that they also have a purpose. So I agree with you 100%.
So you say the purpose then. How do you think people can discover their own purpose?
You know what? I ask people. So people that come to me, they're starting a business, right? So it's why? Why are you starting it? That's where it all starts. What's the why? You have to be able to answer the why. And so far, most of my clients that have come to me, pretty much all of my clients, they have a why behind it. I started this because I want to help other women, or they have a why because their grandmother had put something inside of them, and then their grandmother passed, and they want to carry on their grandmother's legacy. Or everyone has a why behind it, and I feel like if you have a why, then you're already on your steps to developing and broadcasting your purpose.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of what you said earlier about you can't teach an artist how to do art or things like that. You can't. It's instinctive in you. And how do you think people can discover their own passion, their own purpose?
I think it's asking them what makes you happy, what makes you happy, what drives you, and also have someone ever come to you and said, I really appreciate this, or have you ever felt that you've done something more for someone and it left a little goosebumps on you? Because I've had that experience where people come to me and they say, Tiffany, you don't know what you did for me. You just talking to me, and I was really depressed, or I felt this kind of way, and it left goosebumps on me. And so I feel that if you have someone come and tell you things, or sometimes we have these little shivers, these little goosebumps, and we brush it off. But that could be a sign towards you, going towards your purpose as well. Even a hairstylist, she could style a woman's hair and not realize what that woman's going through. Maybe that woman was depressed for a whole month or something like that. Maybe she never left her house. Maybe she's in an abusive relationship. You never know the story behind what the other person is going through. And then all of a sudden she looks in the mirror and she sees her beautiful self. And she could tell the hairstylist, you really don't know what you've done for me. I've been so depressed. I've been locked in a house. I haven't, my friends pushed me to come out and get my hair done or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then the hairdresser herself, that could be her purpose in styling other women's hair and making them feel beautiful.
Did you ever feel depressed?
Yes. Yes, I have. I've been depressed before. I've years ago. I think the most part I've ever felt depressed was just me losing my best friend. I felt depressed because she passed when she was 30 years old. She passed when she was 30, and it was hard for me because it was always three of us. People called us the Three Musketeers, and when she passed, I felt lost. I felt really lost, and I felt really sad, and I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, and I felt like I gave up on life because I felt angry. I felt like it wasn't fair. She was 30 years old. She had two children, and I just didn't feel like it was fair. And so I fell into a depression. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to do anything. I felt like I gave up. I just felt like I was angry at everyone, and I didn't want to hear anyone tell me that they're having a bad day because there's traffic. And I'm like, what do you mean there's traffic? There's people out here losing their lives, and they're so young. Are you kidding me? I felt angry at everyone. I felt super depressed. And I think that was like the hardest time for me. But then it took months. It took me a while to get out of that. And a lot of people didn't even know because, sometimes with people when we're so sad and we're depressed, we try to put on a facade and we try to smile. We try to not let, in my world, I don't want anyone else to feel what I'm going through. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm good, I'm okay. But in the inside, you're not. So that was my depression. It was a really hard time for me. And it took some time for me to see the good in it. I guess the good in it, because I did feel angry and I felt like God took her from me at such a young age. So then I feel like he must have taken her for a reason. And then through her, that's how made me realize that I should go for, because she was my best friend. She was the one who I did the logo for the first time. And she was the one who pushed me and motivated me. She was always the one she was like the mother voice. She was the mother. Do this, do this, do this. She was the mother, and she was the one who always motivated me and pushed me and told me to start a business. So it was then that I realized that I have to go through with this because it's what she had always told me to do anyways. So she's, even with her gone, it's like she's still here. She's like the mother, and I can still hear her voice. Tiffany, do this. Tiffany, do that. So that's kind of like what came out of my depression.
Was that the only good thing that came out of the depression?
That, well, that, and also, she left 2 children. So I still tried to help with them. We're 3 hours away. I still tried to help with them, see them, and help the father and everything. So that also is knowing that I have to still be there for them and help them out, especially when they get older and start talking about mommy and the stories and everything. So you still have to be happy for them, right? You can't walk around and being depressed and have these little people that you have to be happy for them and take care of them and show them the world and everything.
And so, how did you get out of this? Was it purely by starting the business, as you said, and you said this? You said you feel them still in the background, and that helps you to go forward in your graphic design business on other things.
Yeah, but not really. It took me a while because she passed 2 years now. So it took me a while. I just started the business in January, so it wasn't right off the bat. It was just me just trying to find the good in it, and it's really just reaching that acceptance point where you accept, okay, this person is gone now. And once I went through my depression, it was like I accepted that she's gone, but how do I carry on? How do I carry on her name? How do I carry this on? And it's so funny because her nickname is Carrie Ann, so it's like I say carry on, and I think Carrie Ann. So it's like how do I carry on? What she would have done, because she was good at her cakes, but she was also good at touching other people also. So it's kind of like me trying to carry that through my business, but it took me a while to get there. It's kind of hard when someone passed and they're really close to you. It's really hard to be over it, and it takes a while. And then sometimes I still have those moments where I'm driving down the street and I'm talking to her. I still talk to her like, oh, I'm telling her a story, or I'm fussing at her, or I'm asking her for advice or something like that. So it's like I've reached that point of acceptance, and I'm trying to take this and develop it also like my business and be happy and everything like that.
That sounds an awe-inspiring story. So Tiffany, as we slowly wrap up this podcast, though, what is it you're working on now? You said that you're fully booked. You said that you're working on the public speaking. What else are you doing?
I'm working with some amazing clients, which I'm super excited. I have a client who, again, I told you about the Christian Connect business. They're launching their business where they're basically connecting entrepreneurs that all, share the same faith, right? So I have that. I have a couple of events that I'm branding for, women conferences that I'm branding for. I have a lot of projects coming up in October, which I'm super, super stoked and excited about. I'm hoping also within my own business, I would love to launch a t-shirt brand, with just little sayings that for entrepreneurs and for branding, or it's all about you, or life purpose, life brand, or something like that. Like a t-shirt line. I would love to get into that. And so I have a couple of things. I'm reading a book, what is it called? A Pocket Full of Happy. Have you ever read that book before?
A Pocket Full of Happy?
Yes, it's A Pocket Full of Happy. I can't think of the author off the top of my head, but in the book it says to write down 100 goals. Write down 100 goals, right? And first you write down 100 goals, and then you go back to each goal and write down why it's your goal. So every morning what I do is when I wake up, I try to write a goal. And it makes me so excited because I think I'm probably at like 40 something now. But I try to write a goal. So my goal is to start a t-shirt line. My goal is to eventually get into public speaking. These are all goals within, my business, and it makes me excited because in this book it teaches people that everyone has a goal. Everyone has something that they're driven towards. right? And so it teaches you to write down these goals and write why. Why is it your goal? Why do you want to do this? What's the purpose behind it? And it helps motivate you. So I'm really excited. So yeah, those are some things I'm looking to work on next because I'm like going down my goal list.
The book does sound a little familiar, the title. A little bit familiar. I might have come across it. I'm not too sure. But this 100 goals thing, I like the sounds of that, and then asking why it's important. Because I got a list of, around 40 or so, 30, 50 odd goals as well. And it's worthwhile asking why each of them are important to me or why I want to do them. And I've also noticed that since writing some of them, say 6 months ago or a year ago, it's like, that's not really a priority anymore, or that's not really me anymore. So it's like, move away from that on something else, something bigger or better or stronger. So that's an interesting way. And Pocket Full of Happy, does that talk about gratitude at all?
Yes, yes, yes. It's talking about gratitude. Yes.
Lately, since late September, I've been starting to get into the habit of every day in the morning, right, I have this Word document of the day, and there's like 6 questions that I copy from yesterday's. And the first one is like, what am I grateful for? Always asking in the morning what I'm grateful for, whether health, opportunity, or knowledge, or awareness, or things like that. And then a few of the questions like, what my daily goals are today, what's making me anxious, or what's making me worrisome, how could I have made today better?
Yeah.
And what did I get done today? When comparing it to what I wanted to do today, so it's like a diary. I had a diary that was over a year old, started in like November 2015, but I've not touched it really ever since like a year or 6 months or 8 months. And I hear about this idea, and it's a much more regimental way of taking and sharing your notes and sharing your thoughts. And it's like that is quite healthy for mental health, but also at the same time good for gratitude. And that just reminded me of it, this little daily thing I do when you mention this book. A Pocket Full of Happy.
Yes, A Pocket Full of Happy. It's a very, very good book, and it does teach you on. It basically teaches you that we're all energy. Have you ever met someone and you felt like something about them, their aura when you met them, that it kind of like touched you, or you kind of felt like there's something about this person that's drawing me to them. So the book also teaches you about energy. We're all energy. So you want to focus on having positive energy, right? You have positive energy. So therefore, you're giving other people positive energy because energy is so strong. If I'm negative and I have negative energy, if we're in the same room together, at some point, you will pick up that negative energy and you will start to complain. You will become miserable because you're picking up my negative energy. So the book teaches, sorry.
Yeah, with regards to energy, I agree. Everything is energy. I had a sudden realization a few days ago that I shared with a friend on social media, but I have to go searching through days and days to find it. But yeah, it's like energy is. Yes, yeah, I agree. Very important. Emotions are very important. The way you think, what you feel, affects how you behave, affects what you do. It's really a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you're negative, it's a negative feedback loop. When you're positive, it's a positive feedback loop. It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Some would say a little pseudo-scientific, but I've come to realize that for the sake of like the placebo effect, if these things make sense or if they work, then still go ahead with them. Still understand the idea, still learn the principles, because you're still getting the results from it, even if you count the placebo effect in, or just coincidence or things like that. So I must look into that book, A Pocket Full of Happy. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. But as we slowly wrap up, I want to know 2 things actually, Tiffany. One, what challenge do you issue to the audience at home to improve their life, or to change, or to get rid of their depression, or to change, or become the person who they want to be? What challenge do you issue them?
I challenge everyone to wake up in the morning and to 5 minutes, just sit and to write what makes you happy. What makes you happy? And what drives you and what's your purpose. What makes you happy? Just focus on what makes you happy and to write down anything you're thankful for. Definitely gratitude because that does help you be happy as well. And just take 5 minutes and to do that and write down what do you want? What do you want to happen or what do you want? And that's it.
Interesting. I like that. And also, for the carry-on question, the tradition we have on this podcast, what question would you like the next guest to answer?
The next question I would like for the next guest to answer is why? What makes what you're doing special?
All right, I'll answer that. I'll ask them that. Cool. So, what is the best way for the audience to get in touch with you?
Okay, so my website is tsmilesdesign.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. They're all the same tag at tsmilesdesign. And you can also email me. It's Tiffany@tsmilesdesign.com.
Cool. I'll add those links in the show notes below. But Tiffany, it was amazing having you on the show.
Yes, thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen at home, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it. Because this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So go out there today and do something remarkable with your life. Because that is what life is all about.